Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak that's set to release on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC on June 30th. And today we're actually going to be checking out the brand new clips that Capcom went ahead and provided us with, showcasing the brand new lunagaron armor sets for both the male hunter, the female hunter, and of course the palico and the palamute. Now, to keep it in context, we had seen some small clips through the trailers showcasing us a little bit of the palamute armor already for lunagaron specifically. And there was also a glance of the dual blades, which created some controversy on the internet, on Twitter specifically, where people were expecting them to be Gore Magala's actual dual blades, but it turned out to be lunagaron's dual blades. But we had not seen the actual full presentation of the armor set itself up until now. So you should be seeing that on screen right now as we basically go over very first and foremost the male hunting armor for lunagaron, which of course clearly looks exactly as the monster itself. Very dark blues, very shiny light blues, kind of like icy tones in contrast. But I think more interesting is the helmet, or the mask if you will, whichever way you want to look at it. It looks very like modern, kind of like Power Rangers-y type of thing. I know in Japan they have a lot of like Power Ranger types, so this one specifically, just the mask alone, very much stands out in that regard. Now the weapon that you are seeing the male hunter hold, it is the hammer itself. Obviously it also has that back of it, like red contrast with it glowing as well, so you can certainly see that as well, clearly showcased there. When it comes to the female hunting armor set, clearly you can see the cat ears. That's just kind of like a staple for pretty much most female armor sets, it seems to be nowadays. They just get cat ears for one way or another. Allmother got cat ears for no good reason other than the fact that, you know, they needed to make it, so it is what it is. It even got a cat tail, so of course this one is going to have cat ears as well. The female armor set looks fine, doesn't necessarily stand out all that much. I get a lot of like Valstrax vibes from this armor set, just because the like the color contrast and just a little modern look. But other than that, it looks pretty cool. You do see the female hunter holding what I believe is the heavy bowgun, but I could be wrong. It could be the light bowgun, but it's certainly one of those two. I'm gonna take a guess that based on the pose that she is doing, it is the heavy bowgun, because she's holding it with both hands in like a rather like a downward motion, which is usually the pose you see for heavy bowgun. But again, I could be wrong in that regard. Ultimately, it doesn't necessarily matter. We don't necessarily get to see much of the heavy bowgun itself, or the light bowgun for that matter. What I do think is the standout out of everything here is of course the palamute armor. I think the palamute armor is easily the best thing that lunagaron has going for it. For obvious reasons. The head, it just looks so cool. Like, I can't even begin to describe how awesome that head looks. Very shark-like in this design. We recently went over the lunagaron concept arts that I just put up a video. I definitely try to be as meticulous as possible. We're going to leave a link in the description below for you guys to check that out if you haven't done so already, where I talk about how even in the Japanese concept art, they specifically talk about shark-like fins and tails and stuff like that. The design for lunagaron is very much based on like sharks, so they are definitely going with that. He's still a werewolf, that's not being taken away, but a lot of his like visual aesthetic is from a shark, based off of the speed that he's supposed to have. So he's supposed to be a fast monster. We see some of that, and you know, the palamute armor showcases it extremely well in that regard. Now when it comes to the palico armor specifically, I just see Valstrax really specifically. I don't see anything other than that. It doesn't necessarily stand out to me all that much. Those type of designs kind of have already been done multiple times. So in that regard, when it comes to the female armor set, when it comes to the palico armor set, they don't necessarily stand out all that much to me specifically. I do like the male armor set, but I don't play a male character. My characters are female, just because obviously female armors to me specifically look a little bit better. But the palamute armor certainly stands out the most when it comes to the lunagaron armor sets. Now earlier I did put up a video for the Garan Golem armor set as well. You should be seeing that on screen right now as well. If you didn't catch that video, certainly we went over that as well. The Garangom armor set looks, I think, really distinct when it comes to like armor sets. When it comes to Monster Hunter, it certainly stands out as its very own. Not specifically just because of the color contrast, yellow and green, which is really interesting. We don't see those very often. I want to think like Loyal Ludroth and maybe Narjala or something. Like those are the only two monsters that kind of come to my mind when I'm thinking of like yellow and green contrasts. So Garangom certainly stands out in that regard when it comes to that. And the armor, specifically the male armor set, looks really cool. So I really like that. It stands out. They're doing a very good job when it comes to male armor sets. Now when it comes to one of the monsters that I saw a couple of comments in the other video, where is the Malzeno armor? That is a great question. We have not necessarily seen that just yet. We have not necessarily gotten our hands on any clip or any idea when it comes to Malzeno. Now we do have the Dracula armor, which is part of, I believe that I went and covered that. That is part of the Amiibo exclusive stuff that it kind of looks like Malzeno, realistically speaking. You know, they're going to do that thing of like, kind of like Magna Malo got two armor sets, the one for the Amiibos for Monster Hunter Rise, and then his actual armor. They're doing kind of like the same thing with Malzeno, where he's going to have the Amiibo armor set, which is pretty much a Dracula armor set. I went over that in a specific video as well. And my channel, you should be able to look that up as one of the most recent videos. But we have not actually seen the actual Malzeno armor set just yet. It just simply hasn't been showcased, not in the clip, not anywhere. So once we certainly see that for the first time, presumably it's going to be one of these type of clips that Capcom go ahead and provides us with. We should be able to have a better understanding of what that armor set is going to be. Now ultimately, when it comes to actual skills, we still don't have any idea as to what skills these armor sets are going to have. We're still waiting to see if they're even going to add brand new skills. Presumably they will, because G rank always adds a combination of skills, kind of like lower tier skills. They kind of mix them up and they make a brand new skill out of just kind of like two lower tier skills. So that's always useful in that regard. So we expect to see a couple of brand new skills added in, and presumably some of these armor sets are going to have like specific skills. We are hoping for that for sure. We're still going to be able to have like a lot of like, you know, gem socketing and stuff like that, be able to fix that up and tailor your armor set to however you want. But for now, we're still waiting on those information regarding the skills. There's a lot of questions when it comes to like, what are the real big changes kind of like underneath the hood. You know, we're still waiting to see those big massive changes. A lot of people have been expecting to see massive changes when it comes to kind of like the grind for the gems themselves, for the socketing. You know, they're expecting, you know, a little bit more changes when it comes to that. They're also expecting changes for pendants and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a whole discussion that we can have regarding that. I don't want to delve into it too deep specifically in this video, but that is something that I've seen a lot of people try to touch upon, and maybe certainly one of these days I'll try to make a video discussing just what I hope it actually gets changed, but what I think what most people want to be changed, which is one of those things that I'd rather go with what more people want, which is usually more beneficial than just specifically what I would want. But other than that, that is the information that we have for you guys today. lunagaron armor sets, Garangom is already up. That video's up as well, so you guys can check it out if you so desire. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.